Oh, and the thing that everybody seems to be fascinated with when you're, testing whether something's sharp or not, is whether you can shave with them. Oh, there you go. No more hairy hands. I'm going to be regrinding and sharpening these old chisels. Now then, if you look at this is what is a decent Marples chisel, and it's been used for, well, probably levering all sorts of things, and then it's been used as a stirrer for some car body filler. It looks like that. This one again, a Marples chisel, a decent chisel. It's got a bit of a bend on it sideways, which I'm not really worried about, but the thing I'm worried about is somebody at some stage has background it, obviously didn't know what they were doing when they were trying to sharpen it, and background it. Never going to get that to any kind of sharpness without a proper regrind. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Now the thing of it is when I used to do a workshop full of chisels, I had a big old horizontal grinder that was oil fed just to keep everything cool. I haven't got that anymore. What I've got is this. I've got this this horizontal sanding machine. These are fairly common things. This one was £100. You can pick them up second hand for about 60. You can get them cheaper than £100. They're very useful things. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a jig to fit on there, because the important thing is that grinding angle should be 25 degrees. You can have it a little bit less than 25 degrees, you can have it down as far as 20, but the thinner you make that end of the blade, the more delicate it is. So 25 degree grinding angle, then a little 30 degree, or more or less 30 degree sharpening angle. You can get it razor sharp, and that's what I'm going to aim for. So we'll clean this up, make the jig, show you how to sharpen these things. Okay, as you can see from this chisel, which is a 12mm chisel, I've managed to get all that filler off it, well, most of it. It's a decent bevel edge chisel. Underneath all there is no edge on it whatsoever, so a good regrind should see that sorted. This is as it was before. This is a jig I'm making. Now this piece of wood here is cut at 25 degrees, so that the grinding angle for the chisels, I can use that to guide me, to give me that 25 degree angle, like so, and get a nice even 25 degrees on there. This one at the back here, it'll be more evident when the glue's set and I take it out, it's 30 degrees, which is the angle I need for plane irons, and I'll show you that later. But that's it so far. So this is the jig I've made. As you can see, there's a couple of bits of plywood on the sides. I've cut this at 25 degrees and marked it 25 degrees, glued and screwed it into the plywood, and then you turn it over this way. I've cut this one at 30 degrees, glued and screwed it into the plywood. This is a 100mm wide belt, so the plywood sits at just over 100mm wide, and then the backstop there, it can fit up against there, nice and straight and flat, so that when you start the thing up, you've got that nice surface that you can use. Okay, so I've cleaned up the back of this a little bit, concentrating on making sure it stays nice and flat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind away this surface here at 25 degrees, but I've got to get rid of all this bit on the edge, on the back edge here where it's been background. So that's quite a lot of grinding. Thing of it is, I don't want to get it too hot. You can lose the temper of the steel, so I'm going to keep stopping, keep checking it, making sure it doesn't get too hot. So the trick is, keep the chisel cool, keep dipping it in the water, just bring it really gently onto the abrasive, and then once you've got it nice and firm, clamp it on. It's handy to have a square ready, just to check that everything's coming down and staying nice and square on the end, because it's easy to grind these at an angle, which you don't want. But it's coming down nice and steady. So I'll keep the blade nice and cool, just present it really gently to the abrasive, keep checking it, and we've got now pretty much spot on grind, perfect 25-degree angle, just the job, from a nasty, well, pretty damaged chisel blade. That's looking pretty decent. So let's have a go at this one. Alright, so the template, the jig that I made, has been very successful. It's given me a lovely 25-degree grind on there, nice and flat and straight and square. Just the job. So now what I can do is I can actually put a sharpening edge on. Now the way you do this, we've got some fresh oil on the oil stone. This is an old oil stone that I bought, and I've re-flattened it so it's perfectly flat. I'll put a link to the video of how I did that on here as well, so you can see it. So now we get that angle, so that's my 25-degree angle, and you just lift it up another 5 degrees or so. So up a little bit and backwards and forwards, moving across the oil stone, keeping the chisel at that angle and applying a nice even pressure. And then, and this is the bit where you've got to be careful, hold it completely flat on the oil stone on the back, just to break off the burr at the bottom. Now this bit, I suggest you go slow. So, what kind of an edge have we got? After all that, let's have a little look. Not bad. Now remember what this looked like to start with, and now we've got a very nice sharp chisel. Let's try this one. Again, this was the one that was the well, it was a stirrer for car body filler by the looks of it. Same thing, spread a little fresh oil on there, get that angle, lift it up 5, backwards and forwards, moving all the way across the oil stone, keeping that angle nice and consistent. And then, and there you can see that little shiny bit on the end is your sharpening angle. Nice and flat, do not lift the back of the chisel up. And you just got to break off that burr. You could actually see it there. And let's see how we're doing with this one. Oops, I'm through. Yeah, and remember, this is the chisel that was the one used for stirring filler. So, regrinding and sharpening, well, they're perfectly good chisels now. You can use them for paring or whatever else. Cut nice and easy, look. Using basically one of these and a simple made jig to get some nice newly ground and sharpened chisels. Oh, and the thing that everybody seems to be fascinated with when you're testing whether something's sharp or not is whether you can shave with them. Oh, there you go. No more hairy hands. That's some. If you remember, this was the one that was background and horrid. That is a nice sharp chisel. So there you go. I suppose you could call that literally razor sharp.